Let's cut straight through the noise. You're not single because you're unattractive. You're not failing because you're boring. And you're definitely not alone because you don't have game. You're stuck because no one ever showed you how this really works. You've been fed tips, lines, surface-level advice designed to patch holes in your confidence, but not rebuild it from the ground up. You try to be nicer, you text faster. You over-explain your intentions, hoping she sees how different you are. But the more you try to prove yourself, the less she feels it. Because the truth is, she's not watching your words. She's reading your energy. And right now, you're leaking something that kills attraction instantly. Need. This isn't a casual how-to. This is your psychological blueprint. A complete system for becoming the man who pulls her in without chasing, leads without forcing, and builds connection without collapsing. From first look to real connection, we're covering all of it. Let's begin. Section 1. How to attract her before you even speak. Attraction doesn't start when you talk. It starts the second you enter her perception. Before a word leaves your mouth, before you make a move, she's already feeling something. And here's the harsh truth. Most men give off the same signal. I hope I'm good enough. That energy lives in your posture, your eyes, your pacing. It shows up in how you stand, how you hold your drink, how you glance sideways and wait for a safe moment to approach. She reads all of it. And when she feels it, she knows this man isn't rooted. He's rehearsing. On the flip side, think of the guy who enters calmly, who doesn't seek attention but doesn't shrink from it either, who moves like he's not auditioning for a part because he already owns the role. That man is attractive before he even says hello. So before you speak, check your presence. You're not trying to win her. You're observing, you're grounded. And you're allowing her to feel your energy before you offer anything else. Attraction begins in your silence, not your sentences. Section 2. How to talk to her via text. Most guys treat texting like a conversation. That's mistake number 1. You send her long messages, you double text, you try to keep the spark alive with jokes and good mornings. But what you're really doing is this. You're training her to see you as available on command. Text isn't where attraction grows. It's where tension either builds or dies. Your goal isn't to entertain her. It's to mirror her energy while anchoring your own. That means if she takes a while to reply, you don't panic. You don't send follow-ups. You don't over-adjust. You stay still. That stillness creates space, and space allows her to miss you. To wonder, to lean in. When you do message, keep it natural. Not robotic, not needy. Say what you mean and leave it there. And when it's time to shift the energy, you don't ask if she wants to talk, you move it forward. You say, let's get a drink this week. You've got a vibe I want to see in person. That's direction, not negotiation. If she responds well, you lead. If she hesitates, you stay unbothered. Text is not the arena. It's the hallway that leads to it. Section 3. How to lead her to a date without sounding desperate. You've been conditioned to think the date is something you earn. That, if you say the right things, keep her laughing, stay perfectly polite, she eventually say yes. But that logic makes you small. It turns you into a candidate instead of the main character. Leading to the date is not about proving yourself. It's about setting the tone. You want her to feel invited, not chased, desired, not pressured. So how do you do it? You name the date like it's already happening. You say, we should grab a drink. You're fun. I want to see what you're like face to face. Then you stop. You don't oversell it. You don't offer 3-time options and a poll. You hold the frame. If she says she's busy, you say, cool, let me know when you're free. And then you get on with your life. This is where most guys collapse. They think any hesitation means they have to push harder, text more, convince more. But that's not leadership, that's negotiation. And women aren't drawn to men who beg for yeses. They're drawn to the ones who assume yeses because their presence has already earned it. Section 4. What to do before the date. Let's say you've locked it in. The plan is made, the energy's good, you're excited. This is where the panic sets in for most guys. They start texting more. They start over-explaining. They want to make sure she still likes them, that she's still coming, that nothing's changed. And in doing all of that, they erase the exact thing that created attraction in the first place: mystery. Between the yes and the date, your job is to go quiet, not cold, not dismissive, just quiet. Let her anticipate. If she messages you, respond with warmth. But don't start texting like you're in a relationship that hasn't even begun. Also, stop trying to pre-qualify the date with deep questions. You don't need to ask about her childhood trauma before you've shared a drink. Discovery is part of desire, and too much pre-date information collapses curiosity. She said yes because she felt something. Your job is to let that feeling breathe, not smother it with reassurance. When the date finally comes, she should feel like she's walking into something she's still discovering, not something she already solved. Section 5. What to do during the date. You've made it here. You've done what most never learn to do. You created momentum. You stayed calm. You didn't chase. Now it's the actual date, and this is where most men throw away everything they built. They show up and try to entertain. They dominate the conversation. They overshare, trying to prove they're emotionally available. Or they shrink, trying not to say the wrong thing. And in both cases, they lose her. Because the date isn't about impressing her, it's about allowing her to experience you, the real you. The grounded version, the one that doesn't shift tone based on who's sitting across from him. Here's how presence works. You walk in calm. You greet her without second-guessing yourself. You don't do the "how was your day?" script like she's your boss. You get straight into it, not by talking about yourself, but by observing the moment you're in. You say what you see. You tease her lightly, confidently. You hold eye contact when you ask a question, and you listen like her answer actually matters, not because you're trying to win her, but because you're paying attention. You stay off your phone. You slow your speech when the room gets louder. You stay in control of your rhythm. Most guys rush when they feel her attention waver, but the man who doesn't flinch, he becomes the gravity of the room. That's what she feels. Not your job title, not your clever jokes, not your curated personality. She feels how still you are when she leans in. She feels the confidence in your silence. She feels that you're not there to be picked. You're there to experience her too. This is how attraction deepens. Not through more effort, but through less collapse. Section 6. What to do after the date. Now here comes the part where most men ruin the energy. They leave the date and immediately reach out. Had such a good time. You're amazing. Hope you got home safe. Let's hang out again soon. But what they don't realize is they're trying to secure something that hasn't left yet. They're trying to lock it in, when the best move is to let it hang in the air just a little longer. If the date went well, she already knows. She's already thinking about it. She already felt it. And if you rush to name it, define it, hold it in place, you crush the magic with control. So here's the shift. You send no message that night. You let the silence hold the memory. The next day, if you want to reach out, you do it with ease. Nothing heavy, just presence. Something like, "Yesterday was fun. You've got more edge than I expected." That's enough. She either match it or fade. And if she fades, you don't chase. Because your power didn't come from the outcome. It came from how you held the experience. And a man who respects the moment without trying to force it into something stays unforgettable. Section 7. How to turn momentum into something real. If she's still texting, if she's suggesting ideas, if she's saying yes without hesitation, now you're in the transition. This is where it can actually become something real. But this is also where most men lose their edge. They start showing up too often. They start texting all day. They start opening emotional doors too quickly. They stop leading. They stop pulling away. They stop being the version of themselves that created the initial spark. She didn't fall for a clingy echo. She fell for the man who wasn't trying to be anything but himself. So when things get deeper, you don't soften your standards, you don't get overly available. You don't lose your rhythm to make room for hers. You keep your schedule. You continue pursuing your goals. You allow her in, but only to the degree that she's consistent, reciprocal, and aligned. If she earns your consistency, then you give more. Not all at once, not to prove anything, but to build something stable, together. You don't ask where this is going, you lead where it's going. And if she leans in, you calibrate. If she pulls back, you observe, but you never chase clarity. You embody it. Because the relationship isn't what makes you whole. It's what meets you at your wholeness. Section 8. What makes her choose you? Long-term attraction is easy, commitment is rare. She's not going to choose you because you're the most impressive. She's going to choose you because she feels safe in your frame. Not safety like predictability. Not safety like control. But safety like, this man doesn't need me to feel okay. And that's why I want to stay. The moment she feels that you're not dependent on her emotions, her attention, her validation, she begins to relax. That's what makes a woman open. Not flowers. Not promises, not compliments. It's that deep, internal message you carry. I'd rather lose you than lose myself. That's the energy she can't walk away from. And that's how dating becomes something more than a game of timing and guessing. That's how it becomes a bond she respects. Not because you needed her, but because you led something real. The observer's take: you've spent too long trying to earn women's interest, too long analyzing texts, too long adjusting your truth to keep someone interested who never earned access to the real you. That ends here. From now on, you walk into moments without trying to win them. You speak without softening. You date without collapsing. You hold your edge. You hold your rhythm. You hold the door open and see who steps in. Because dating isn't about performance. It's about presence. And when your presence speaks louder than your words, when your energy stays solid even when hers flickers, when your truth doesn't shift to fit the moment, you don't just attract her. You transform the entire experience of being with you. See the unseen. Control the game.